You trust your crypto assets to centralized exchanges that actively sell your private information and front-run your trades? Would you like to buy and sell your assets without any middlemen, intermediaries, or robots? Do you like paying slippage, fees, and having the price go up as bots steal from you on low-liquidity decentralized exchanges? The solution is nodemarket.io. Set your guaranteed buy or sell price. No middlemen, no slippage, no bots, ever. Buy or sell 1, 10, or even 10 million tokens, and you never have to worry. OTC trades are between you and the seller or buyer, guaranteed by audited smart contracts and no human middlemen. Nodemarket.io.
All right, I think we got them all. We got them all, yeah. So far. Well, let's see. Oh wait, hello. All right. We'll get this down to a sustainable level of background noise. Okay. So we'll look at markets. We'll do all our good Q&A type stuff and all that. Yesterday, we talked about nominal and real rates. Hope some of you guys paid attention. Brandon should be back next week because I think it's like a day and a half or 2 days travel on each side of Africa. So assuming he hasn't been eaten since the last time we talked, it's been a day or two, so he might have been eaten. It is what it is. Africa is tough. Then he'll probably be back. So a lot of you that have technical questions, stuff like that, that's been frustrating you, the videos will be posted. Everything will be fine. All right. Yeah, the rate discussion, I know it sounds silly, but for some reason when that was beat into my head, it started making a big difference in the way that you look at the macro space. It's just, it puts a couple more of the puzzle pieces in the right place. So that's good right there. All right. What else going on? Markets are doing goodish. Does anybody think that between now and Monday, the total crypto space is going to crash? Or do we think that pretty much we have had a green September? I think green. This is my second cup of coffee today. But you'd say, wow, 2 cups? No, I didn't drink the first cup. So I had this idea that seemed like it would be a good idea, that after I wash the cup, I would flip the cup upside down. But this is a reflective cup. You can't tell, but the bottom of it is as reflective as the sides and as the top. And the handle is just about equidistant. You see? Same distance here, same distance here. That little symbol I don't even know what the hell it is. It's a dragon or a griffin or some shit like that. So when it's flipped upside down, it doesn't look like it's flipped upside down. So my first cup of coffee, which was my last chocolate marshmallow, which is like one of the best flavors, the cup was flipped upside down, and I turned it on and it just poured on there. And then luckily I caught it while it was happening, but it started to pour into the thing. And then I had to like real slowly move it, wash it, the whole thing. It was a damn nightmare. It was a mess. Then I have the hypercycle meeting at 7:30 to 8. I got to jump on there and get on that meeting because you guys want your details. But one of our private clients had some wallet problems. Were they real wallet problems? No, they weren't. Were they problems in using the wrong wallet and not knowing what was in the correct wallet? Problems that could have been solved on their own, even just by scrolling up into prior messages? Yes, they were. Did it take me about 25 minutes to figure out that this quagmire was of their own creation? Yes, it did. So I don't have anything to tell you about hypercycle because I missed the meeting, because I was looking up somebody's wrong MetaMask wallet for problems that, anyway. If you guys don't know how to use MetaMask by now, go back and watch Brandon's videos. Go back and watch all of the tech tip videos. I'm not going to turn this into a rant because on this one, once I start cussing, there's no stopping. I'm going to light this whole thing on fire. So I can't cross that chasm because I already missed a meeting. I already effed off my coffee. All of these chain of events can be linked back to one message. I didn't get my tokens. Well, let's see. And everything after, well, let's see. So anyway, that's that. So I don't have any updates for hypercycle, although there are a lot of them. But probably not a lot of stuff I could have said anyway. That particular call, the Friday call, is not one that we can really share with people. The Wednesday call, we get all sorts of good information. That's really the big information call. But the Friday one is like more technical, like, hey, we need code audits on this. Hey, this has come back. There's a +1 error. Hey, although there's not a +1 error, that's like the worst thing ever. So like stuff like that. Anyway, it wouldn't have been all that interesting, but it is what it is. So, do we have a twin update? Not yet. But as far as we know, second half of October, maybe. Let's see if they can slide this TGE in before the election. See if they can get that done. And so that's what's going on with the back and forth. I did get from the Libra team their marketing plan, which is badass. No, Cisco, it's because I meditate. I don't feel pain because I meditate. I meditate playing Population 1. I probably bag about 200 or 300 skins each night. When you commit that kind of, that massive level of assassination, you depressurize. Okay. All right. No. So, that Singularity DAO is handling the launch for both Libra and Twin. It looks like those are probably going to happen about 2 weeks apart. However, I don't know who comes first, the Twin chicken or the Libra golden egg. I don't know. So we will know. I think we'll know in about a week. We'll know for sure date of, I think we will know for sure, at least internally, the date of one of those two, and they'll look at the other one. I try to warn everybody against going after the election But no one listens to me. I told them, I mean, you guys know, I'm not going to go through the whole story again of how they missed the three biggest things in crypto, period, over the last probably 4 years. They missed the BTC spot ETF. They missed the Ethereum spot ETF. Like, they missed Bitcoin options getting the green light from the S. They've missed everything, like every possible amazing thing in crypto. They missed all of them. So at this point, there's no reason or logic. I just hope they slide it in before the election. Okay, so there's that. There's the news there. We'll spend probably more time than usual just looking at markets, just because it's starting to get where there's a general melt up. And obviously these things come with corrections and when you go into low liquidity weekends and all this kind of stuff. But generally speaking, I think, well, that's it. September's an up month unless there's a crash tomorrow morning. And even if there was a crash, unless it crashed down to like 55 or 54,000, Bitcoin and the greater space is having it's an up month. So all of that bull smoke, I'm going to try to be curse free today. Curse free Friday. F free Friday. That's what we're doing today. F free Friday. Your children can listen today. Your children can listen. They shouldn't. They should be in school. Otherwise, you're a bad parent. But they could. So all of those other few years where, yeah, FFF. All right. F free Friday. I like that. So when you have a very limited data set, which is from 2009 until now, that's still very limited data. It's just not much. Then what happened last year just doesn't matter. What happened next year, it ain't nothing. Listen, we have to, the crypto space, because of its volatility and because of its relative correlation more and more to the macro, but illiquid assets on illiquid exchanges, still mostly traded by illiquid, sketchy investors. See, I even did that. So just take it. You still got to take it one information bit at a time, and you weigh the information, and then you use it to you spray it into the mix that is your decision making. Right? You take a new piece of information. How much do I weigh? And I throw it in the bag. I take a new information. How much do I weigh? I throw it in the bag. And that's pretty much how it is. And that's why there's no kind of fire and forget strategy in Bitcoin, in crypto other than Bitcoin. You probably could and have over time. You probably can just buy Bitcoin and just not look at it and do okay. I mean, okay, you can probably pace inflation, hopefully, till they start really inflating away the debt. That's a whole other thing. We'll probably talk about that next week, what that even means and what some of the mechanisms might be for that. They are all gross and ugly, and it destroys savers. So being a saver, the whole, cash is trash. Being a saver doesn't work anymore. You have to beat inflation. You have to beat it handily, because every year you don't beat inflation, it's like you're giving back. Yeah. Oh, yeah. The homeschool curriculum, game theory. Should be teaching kids game theory. So did I, Dan? Or are you just spoiling our Friday? I'm not even sure you're a real captain. All right. I saw something that was pretty interesting, as you'll see on screen. Wait, does the real rate apply to a mortgage? No. Well, after the fact, it applies to it in the difference between the value of the money borrowed at the time you initiate the mortgage and the cheaper dollars that you're paying back over the duration of the mortgage. But the actual rate on a mortgage, the real rate is not the rate. The rate that you set is the nominal rate. That is, if you have a 6% mortgage, 6% is your rate. Now, if inflation is 12%. Okay, there's the real rate. It would be a reverse, because ideally, as inflation increases, wages track inflation. You get paid more to do the same, which is maintaining buying power. That would be the reason why wages would I mean, in a perfect world, in perfect propagation of information and money, and we don't live in a perfect world, but ideally, as inflation increases, wages increase. They have to go up together. If they don't, that dislocation creates a lot of trouble. So if you have a 6% mortgage, but inflation is 12%, which is dramatic, and you're getting paid, your wages track inflation, you're getting more dollars for the same amount of actual physical effort, because each dollar buys incrementally less, about 6% less. Therefore, you're paying back that fixed rate mortgage, or at least if it's fixed rate, you're paying back that 6% with cheaper dollars. Does that make sense? With dollars that aren't worth as much because they don't have as much buying power. You can renegotiate. It's like when you buy a house, I mean, the rate is really everything. Does that make sense? You can renegotiate the rate. You can't renegotiate the price. So, and I'm not a real estate person. I'm just a buying things person. So if you have an adjustable rate mortgage, then you might get whacked around with the market, and you have to be very careful that your wages are increasing with inflationary effects, because in a true inflationary environment, rates are going to go up. Why? Because growth and inflation expectations are what the yield curve be, right? So anyway, yeah. I mean, you don't want to be a lender. This is the thing in these low interest rate environments. Fixed rate mortgages are not very appetizing for banks. They're like, why are we going to give you money for free? They're like, well, the Fed gives you. No, the Fed doesn't give us money. The Fed gives us bank reserves. Bank reserves are not money. A bank can have tons of bank reserves. That doesn't mean that they can lend. That's not actual currency units. Banks, in a sense, are very much like the government in that they kind of lend first and back it second. It's not really what you think. It's not like a bank waits, and then when you walk in with $10, they're like, okay, sweet, we can lend. We can put that money into the economy. That's not how it actually works. And yeah, anyway, that gets into a whole other thing. But you basically get it. All right. Let's see. Talking about the MetaMask interruption almost took you into a rant. I know. I came back from the brink. I held myself back. You know what? Maybe you are a real captain. Okay, so let's talk about this. I thought this was funny. We all think that Germany is a dumpster fire poop show, and it is. And they just dumped a bunch of Bitcoin, and thought they had the last laugh, which they didn't, because they have lost an extreme amount of money in the way they sold this Bitcoin. I don't know if anyone's calculated the loss. Well, not the loss, the lost opportunity, but because the way they if they had slowly just disseminated their 1,000 Bitcoin a day, 500 Bitcoin a day, 500 Bitcoin a day, they could have done that for 100 days. But that wasn't the way they did it, was it? No. We'll show you, world. We'll show you, market. A bunch of grandstanding German politicians doing their douchiest finest, their finest très douche. And anyway, I think they're $1 billion, $2 billion underwater. I mean, from where they would have been. So these same politicians, we're doing this for the people. We're getting the money. We don't believe in this Bitcoin stuff. We're going to take this money and make the government better and da-da-da-da. Cool. Except that you just cost the taxpayers, $1.5 billion or $2 billion because you needed it right now. I need it right now. So anyway, but I thought this was kind of cool. You wonder if there's some people in the German government that are like, wait a minute, we may have made a mistake. Let's not make a mistake again. So yesterday, Germany founded the Bitcoin Federal Association, the BFA, in the German federal parliament, the Bundestag. The news was first announced on an X post by Bundestag member and Bitcoin activist Joanna Kotar. The association will focus on lobbying, networking, and influencing national and international Bitcoin legislation. It's pretty cool. It's a pretty good about face from where they were, at least. You know that Joanna Kotar probably was one of the lone voices like, what are you doing? I don't know if that's her voice, but she was like, what are you doing? The Germans, this will not make the Führer happy. So anyway, they want to positively shape the Bitcoin ecosystem in Germany and the EU. And remember, economically speaking, Germany is the EU. Everybody else is kind of like a profligate kid. In a reply to her post, the Bitcoin Federal Association, the BTCBV, oof, that's a lot of B's and a lot of consonants, shared a press release document. This document stated that the association was officially founded with 50 members present, while another 22 participated remotely. The association creates an environment for business, research, development, and politicians to discuss and collaborate on issues related to Bitcoin. Woo, 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 woo. The BTCBV elected Philippe J.A. Hartmannsgruber as chairman, Daniel Weingen as vice chairman, and Matthias Steiger as a finance director. We've laid the foundation for Bitcoin companies to have a strong voice and representation both in Germany, in the German Bundestag, and in the European Parliament, as well as with the EU Commission, said Philipp Hartmannsgruber, the BTCBV chairman. The BTCBV founding members include people from Bitcoin companies such as 21 Bitcoin, BlockSize, and Coinfinity. I've never heard any of those. I mean, not one of them. Never heard of them. Okay. The association also plans to join the German lobby register. But according to CoinGecko, governments around the world hold 2.2% of Bitcoin's total supply. That is equivalent to 471,380 Bitcoin, which is about 30.88 billion. So it's not a lot. Germany has parted ways with its Bitcoin. The United States takes first place with 213. So the U.S. government has seized Bitcoin, 213,000. They can't turn that Bitcoin. They can't turn that Bitcoin into like a Bitcoin reserve unless they replace it with cash, because that money is earmarked for victims of crime and criminal things. And yeah, you could argue that a lot of that's probably sketchily obtained from the U.S. government, and probably a lot of that was Silk Road. But either way, they got it. China follows next with 190,000 Bitcoin. Then the UK with 61,000. El Salvador with 5,800. And the Ukraine, oddly, with 13,034.6 Bitcoin. 1,334. 1,300. So the German government used to have prior 46,359 Bitcoin, worth approximately 3.05 billion today. The government confiscated those coins in 2013. This happened during an operation against a piracy website that faced Copyright Act violations. As of today, the German government owns zero. They have zero Bitcoin. Nothing. Freaking goose egg. This is because the government liquidated all of its holdings during 2024 as they laughed and mocked the rest of the world. Are you laughing now? So my guess is there was a bunch of dissenting hands in the German parliament that were like, why are we selling this? Why are we doing this? And, you know, you had a couple of grandstanding Elizabeth Warren-esque politicians. Oh, man. On a side note, if you want to get really angry, like really angry, go do a little bit more digging into all of the steps that Elizabeth Warren took to crash Silvergate Bank. I mean, dirty. Like, if anybody else did, like in the movie Wall Street, if Gordon Gekko did it, you'd be like, geez, this guy's a dick. Like, she called these companies personally, which you got no business as a congressman calling a private company CEO. No business at all. Basically threatened them. You better watch what you're doing. You better get away from crypto and all this kind of stuff. So 2 threats that were made public. I don't know if there was more. There probably was. They probably didn't even take her call for like 6 months. Then, in addition to that, she went to their primary lender and told them to not extend liquidity to them. It was about, I think that's where they got about 15% of their funding. And told them, yeah, don't renew your funding terms with them. Cut them off. And so what are you going to do? Some congressman comes and says cut off lending. You just do it. So it's pretty clear to me that Elizabeth Warren crashed Silvergate. Then, because remember what else came off of that? Yeah, Kirill, remember what other banks started to collapse because of that? Remember, it was Silvergate, Silicon Valley, First Republic. There was one other with an S. It's another S one. There were 3 S banks and then First Republic. 3 S banks and then First Republic. So she probably crashed 4 banks and destroyed I don't know how many private investors were just gutted on that. And when the FDIC comes in, we're taking over. You don't have a choice. You're just like, okay, I guess we're taking over. And then guys like publicly anti-Bitcoin Jamie Dimon come in and they look at all of the assets that they want. They scalp the ones they want with a loss sharing agreement with the government, which means us, which means we cover their losses. In a sense, we all share the losses. Sweet. Thanks, Jamie. I know we're all sharing the wins. We're all sharing the profit. So it makes sense that we're sharing the losses. Scumbag. So they get to pick and choose what assets they want. And and everybody else gets wiped out. All the everybody up to, if you own shares, everybody up to senior preferred, top badass debt hold. Everybody else got wiped. Everybody wiped out. I think that the seniors took a 74% haircut. Yeah. Oh. And it makes, man, if you read into that, it will make you mad. You'll just be like, what in the heck is she? How is she allowed to do this? But then, how is Nancy Pelosi allowed to, and everyone else in Senate and Congress allowed to trade on insider information? It just is. It's not illegal. And there's videos of her being questioned where people say, Miss Pelosi, do you think it's fair that you and your other officials get to participate in proprietary information and make trades in the stock market? Do you think that's fair? And she's like, well, that's the way the law is. If you don't like it, you can change it. No, actually, that's what you're for. Bitch. Like, these people, man, you want to bounce their head off the concrete, but you can't. And so the reason I'm talking about all of these things is you will see a lot of people in life that are successful not because they worked at it, not because they're directly clever or they've created something to they've made society better or they've worked harder. They just cheat. They cheat within the weird rule structure, and it is what it is. And sometimes it's easy to be frustrated, like Adam Newman, the WeWork guy that basically scammed everyone. He was a complete moron, and the guys at SoftBank let him basically take $1 billion and walk away. You know what he did? He did something amazing. He took old office buildings and he added coffee machines and beer dispensers. What? No, he didn't. Right. You're like, oh, he's changing. WeWork is changing the office environment. How? Well, They have coffee machines. Okay, go on. And beer dispensers. Oh, okay. Huh. I guess I'm WeWork, except I don't have beer dispenser. Yeah. And listen, Nancy Pelosi's not cheating. She's just really good at investing. Her and her husband are just really good at investing. She probably didn't know. I mean, she did sit in on those meetings, but she probably didn't know anything was going to happen. And the fact that they do this and it's right in your face, I guess that's what's the most infuriating thing. It's so frustrating. Do I think the international longshoremen strike could whack this bull run? No, I don't. I mean, would it make people more risk averse? I mean, did the Hollywood strike? All we got out of the Hollywood strike was bad TV for like a year. We got a year of bad TV and bad movies, like really bad. There's like nothing right now. Thank God that Joker, the sequel's coming out next week, and that we had Deadpool and Wolverine. But I don't think so. I think what it could do is actually push up the price of certain assets. I think that might be an interesting thought discussion, though, Randy. I think you're on the right track in that there could be small e supply and demand type weirdnesses that you could maybe exploit. It's definitely worth a discussion. I'll put it that way. And maybe that's something we talk about. Maybe we go into that. Maybe that's one of the things to talk about next week. I think, Kirill, we had something else we were going to do next week too. You had there was something from yesterday, but anyway, okay. So let's get past that. I guess the net of this is the takeaway. You're going to see a lot of people that are successful and undeserving, and there's nothing more frustrating than undeserved reward. I mean, just think about it. There's nothing more frustrating than working your butt off and someone else either gets it for free or cheats. People hate that. The problem is you got to be careful. Don't fall into the argument that just because someone's successful, they don't deserve it. That's also that, and that's where it's a slippery slope. A lot of people are like, "Oh man, screw Elon Musk." I mean, I have other reasons to not like Elon Musk, but some things I like about him. But like, screw him. He doesn't pay taxes. The dude paid over $1 billion in taxes, man. I want you to think about that for a second. Can you imagine writing $1 billion check to the government and then having a-holes on your own on Twitter, which you own, which you're basically losing on, which you're going to have to liquidate, and it's going to cost you a fortune. With your losing investments platform, everybody's sharing that you don't pay taxes. $1 billion, man. 1, comma. This is on your check. 1, comma, 0, 0, 0, comma, 0, 0, 0, comma, 0, 0, 0. And no 100. Can you imagine writing that check? You know what I'm saying? So let's not be too judgy. So just because someone is successful doesn't mean it's undeserved. But there are a lot of people with undeserved reward. And you kind of have to push all of that crap aside. Don't focus on the person next to you. Don't focus on the person in front of you. You're running your own race, right? In the race that you're in, the financial race that you're in, it is just you. You are the lead. You're the lead dog, right? As everybody else, the view is the same. Just looking at a bunch of dog butts. But for the lead dog, it's just clear pace, clear track. That's how you need to be when you do this. And it will help you not to succumb to these kind of socially acceptable excuses for mediocrity and all this kind of stuff. Oh, it's okay. Oh, woe is me. All of this old bull crap that you hear from everybody else. And if you find yourself around people that are talking like that are statistically negative, oh, woe is me. It's rigged. It's this, it's that. none of that matters, even if they're right. What difference does it make, really, if Nancy Pelosi and those other scumbags, if they make tons of money, does that mean you can't make money? It's not like there's only so much money to go around. They literally print this crap 24/7. There's tons of money. There's a lot. You can all get some. So it doesn't matter what these douchebags do. It just doesn't matter. And so I would urge you to keep that in the back of your minds or in the front of your minds. Keep it right up front. Okay. Let's go. If you guys have any questions, fine. I'm going to go behind the wall now. We're going to go behind the wall. We are going to look at markets. And if you have anything that's been bugging you, you private clients or you digital investor use, let's get it discussed as we go into this weekend, which is the last weekend in Uptember. Not, what did they call it? Down timber and Uptober or some old stupid crap like that. And remember, the end of October means we near the elections. And I would say there's going to be a lot more craziness and volatility there. Also, meaning there's a lot of opportunity. Volatility equals opportunity. Okay. All right. So let us part ways. Beep, 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 beep.
Going behind the proverbial wall now to continue the broadcast privately for the digital investors and digital private clients. If you'd like to join us, simply go to nickblacknext.com and subscribe to one of our plans and immediately take advantage of our library of tools, tactics, and information. It's all designed to help you learn, grow, and manage your portfolio like a pro. Join us now.